he's right here.
دكتور كرولوس ده يعني احدث
من الصبح عمالين دكتور كرول، انا عايزه اشوف دكتور كرولوس.
يعني هو احدث حد ونشيط جدا، وكان دكتور سامي بيقول ان الريسيرش والببلشنج ده حاجه كونتيجوس، وهو عمل ويف فعلا. دكتور سامي نتمنى او اعتقد ان الدكتور كرولوس هيعمل ويف ثانيه ان شاء الله.
بس طبعا يعني فكره الشغل اللي اتعمل ده اما كنا بنعمل البروتوكول بتاع كاترين، كان في اسئله كتير جدا احنا مش عارفين نجاوبها. يعني انت بتيجي تعمل ريسيرش احيانا بتلاقي نفسك محتاج تعمل ريسيرش عشان تبتدي تعمل ريسيرش بتاعك. فالفاكت ان هو بيأسس كواليتي بتاع العيانين دول كاشيكسيا هو ترانسليتد، يعني ترانسليتد مودرن ستاندرد عربي MSA عربي، وموجود اونلاين اي حد ممكن يستخدمه. لكن نص تقريبا 40% بلس اور ماينس بتوعنا illiterate، ما يعرفوش يقروا ويكتبوا. فكنا عاوزين نجاوب السؤال ده، يعني كان العيانين هيفهموا بتاع الMSA اللي اونلاين ده مش هيفهموا. فالدكتور كرولوس عمل لنا الريسيرش اللذيذ ده، وهنشوف العيانين يفهموا ولا ما يفهموش اللي هم مترجمين.
Thank you, Dr. Sami, for letting me introduce this small but very good study about understandability of the Arabic version of the functional assessment of anorexic check syndrome, which is stand for FACT-G version 4 scale by Egyptian cancer patient. This is my agenda. Introduction. As we know, questionnaire or surveys are not just a question picked by a physician and asked directly to a patient to assess one of the patient-reported outcomes. As Dr. Catherine said, everything has to be measured, even if it is in just a qualitative way. So, to make a questionnaire or survey, it has to go into a rigorous process of validation and standardization. And even when you translate a validated or reliable tool or survey, you have also to do the same with the translated version. However, as we know, the interpretation of a question will not be similar to all participants. We come from different culture backgrounds, different level of education. For example, a very famous questionnaire have a question like, "Are you blue?" And in slang American language or English language, blue means depressed. But actually some patient, some English speaker patient translated this word as the physician asked about a color or a sign like cyanosis or something. في العربي برضه لما بنسأل المريض انت تعبان، هو ممكن يفهم دي ان هو الدكتور بيسألني عن وجع، عن ألم pain، وممكن يفهم ان هو بيسألني عن fatigue، ان انا تعبان مش قادر اتحرك. ده شيء وده شيء، وده هيقود لمانجمنت بلان مختلفه رغم انهم the same question to different person. So most of the validated questionnaires من الجود organizations اللي بتعمل وبتقوم بالبروسيس of validation of the questionnaire لما بتبقى translated دايما بتبقى translated للمودرن ستاندرد Arabic، العربيه الفصحى المفهومه نسبيا لمعظم illiterate personality في الوطن العربي. بس as we know ان معظم illiterate personality مش هيقدروا يفهموا اللغه دي، لان احنا we talk in another language، بنتكلم بالعاميه معظم الوقت، وهم طبيعي ممكن يفهموا بس من الاخبار او من الناس اللي بتتكلم معاهم. برضه في مشكله تاني another problem ان physicians sometimes tend to give further explanation to patient who exposed to filling such questionnaire. ان ممكن السؤال يبقى انا اشعر بالوهم، الطبيب نفسه ممكن ما يبقاش expert in the language، فهو ممكن يبتدي يفسر للمريض الوهم ده يعني التعب. the same problem ان البيشنت اصبح بيفسر الكلمه معناها التعب، فممكن يفتكر انها الالم، فيبقى التول اللي هي developed و validated انها تقيس الفتيج اصبحت بتقيس البين. So we try to know how size is a problem in our local community in Egypt. We aim to assess the understandability of one of the common validated questionnaires in oncology practice, which is the FACT version 4 among cancer patients. So our method, we use the Arabic version of FACT, we have surveyed Egyptian patients with cancer that are already under follow-up in our clinical oncology department of Cancer School of Medicine, and follow-up with the integrated palliative care unit in the same center. A physician, an investigator, assists those who cannot read by reading to them the Arabic version of the questionnaire. The Arabic version, we get it from a facet system. This is a very large organization that develop surveys to report some of the patient-reported outcomes. And they translate it to several languages. One of them is Arabic, and they do validation and standardization to the translated version. So we used a reliable tool, which is the FACT-G4. So we didn't allow any help from the physician or investigator to interpret or translate some of the wording. He just, for those who are who can't read, he just read the exact statement provided by the facet system. No any help were allowed. And if the patient actually tried to answer, the questionnaire is based on scaling 1 to 5. If the patient starts to answer with a word like Alhamdulillah, لا أنا بشكر ربنا, we know that when لما الناس ما بتفهمش السؤال قوي ما بتحبش تحرج نفسها, يعني تقول أنا مش فاهمة, فبتجاوب a more general common word like Alhamdulillah, أنا كويس. We consider this non-understanding. He has to circle a number. He has to say I'm fatigued 3 on 5 scale. So this is the baseline characteristics of our cohort. Most of them are females actually. We didn't include a specific type of cancer. We considered any patient following up with us eligible. The median age was around 50 years. Actually, we are an adult only. We don't have a child departments. So our cohort were mainly homogeneous, relating to the educated versus non-educated, or illiterate versus non-illiterate. Those who are educated can read and write. We gave them a questionnaire and they self-administer it. Those who can't read or write, one of the investigators read for them. And as we can see, it is a homogeneous cohort, equally represented from both sides. But actually most of the education was in a high school level, not a university. This may be related to our center as a facility for a free treatment. So these are the questions. The questionnaire has a lot of questions, but I have shaded in red the most questions that the patient reports that they not understanding them. As we can see, some question actually half of the patient or less than half can't understand from both sides, the literate and the illiterate. The first question is like أشعر بالوهن, أشعر بالغثيان. I think when I bring two young colleagues to help me in collecting data, they themselves, they are physician with a bachelor degree, said هو ايه يعني ايه كلمة وهن دي يا دكتور كروس؟ فأنا يعني انبهرت بأن هو حتى الناس educated physician ممكن ما يبقوش برضه عارفين الترم اللي هو translated ممكن يعني ايه. Some other question like استمتع بالأشياء التي أقوم بها للترفيه. Around 16% of our cohort didn't understand the question. يقلقني كيف أظهر نحيلا، ينخفض اهتمامي بالطعام بمجرد محاولة تناوله. Those are very difficult questions in Arabic. So finally we have compared between the two groups, between the literate and illiterate, and we have found that the average percentage of non-understandable fact questions per patient in the illiterate group, as expected, is very high. Around 1/3 of the question were not understood, and 6%, and this percent was highly statistically significant result. So our conclusion from this nice survey that a significant proportion of the Arabic translated fact question is not understandable by illiterate Egyptian cancer patient. So we recommend using the current Arabic version of FACT with educated patient at least. And we know that some in other languages they try to do some cultural adaptation. In Portuguese or Latin America, they try to mix between the standard language and the slang language. I think this will be very hard problem for Arabic world, because as we know, the slang language in Egypt is not like في الخليج أو في السعودية. حتى في مصر نفسها الأماكن الصعيد فهموا للكلمات وإدراك لها مختلف تماما عن الدلتا. بس أعتقد إن هو شيء دوبل مع ميكسينج السنترز اللي في الصعيد مع السنترز اللي في الدلتا، مع سيرفيز بسيطه زي كده ممكن تتعمل في خلال 3 or 4 weeks من عمل طبيعي. ممكن نبتدي ندرك ايه الفروقات في فهم بعض الكلمات. ممكن نبتدي نحط تعديلات ونعمل بعد كده validation standardization. Thank you.
من